A little bit of history. I've been on this franchise since its inception. There were 4 of us who got together. We had shipped previous games like Project Gotham Racing, Rally Sport Challenge, and we pitched the game, we built the team, and built the product. And more than anything, this product, this game, this franchise is a labor of love. It's all about passion. The passion that not only we have as a team towards cars, but the passion we see around the world towards car culture and just cars in general. Cars really do speak to people at multiple levels. In fact, for most people, their first car is like their first love. They're sort of ashamed when they talk about their car. Oh, my first car was this, and it's kind of embarrassing. And yet, when you talk deeper, they actually really did love that car. Forza has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cars in the game. But my expectation is not that you're going to collect 100 cars. My hope is, and the reason we have such diversity in our car list, is so that you find the 5 to 10 cars that really speak to you, that really matter to you, and the game conforms to how you play. So community has always been a big deal to Forza Motorsport, but the secret is that 50% of our community, half of the community, is not racing. They're doing cat and mouse, they're doing tag and virus, and all of these playground games. And what it tells you is that people want to play with cars. Yeah, hardcore racers want to race, but players still want to play with cars regardless. And by bringing everyone together in your car club, all these different types of creativity, it builds more of that passion. And that's what Forza is all about. Whether you're a racing gamer or a more casual gamer, or you kind of like cars, or you're just thinking about cars, the game fits you like a glove. It feels very natural as you're playing through it, and hopefully gets you thinking about cars in a new way.
About 70 full-time employees. We're about 80 contractors at full-time, at full height of production. But this is really just the tip of the iceberg. We've got partners all around the world that help us build this game. We're up to 400 people at our peak. We have vendors in China, Vietnam, India, parts of Europe, UK, North America. They're all over the world.
Authenticity is very important to Forza Motorsport 5. All these cars have been designed from the ground up for Xbox One to feel just like they do in real life.
Players may have heard a little bit about a feature called Drivatar. What it does basically is it records your driving, your telemetry, your replays. It kind of observes how you drive, takes all this data, stores it in the cloud, condenses it, generalizes it, and then starts to make some assumptions about how you would drive. So for example, if you drive a front-wheel drive car and you tend to push the exit of a corner, it's going to make some assumptions about how you drive all front-wheel drive cars, or a complex series of turns. You're slow in so you can be fast out. It can make some other assumptions about how you might drive other tracks, and that's really the magic of Drivatar, is that it's not a ghost or a replay. It's actually human behavior. It watches how you drive, and it can predict how you would drive in a car on a track that you've never raced before, which is pretty cool. Almost everything with the game is new since we're out on the Xbox One. We only get this opportunity about every 8 to 10 years to come out on a new console, so we've kind of rebuilt this thing from the ground up. Graphics are part of our big story. We've rewritten our graphics engine from the ground up.
The team is hard at work bringing you the next generation of Forza Motorsport, built from the ground up to take advantage of the Xbox Series console. This is the most technically advanced racing game ever made.
The advancements in our physics model are greater than Forza Motorsport 5, 6, and 7 combined. Our materials and shaders are built from the ground up.
Each audio system has been rebuilt from the ground up.
20 environments, built from the ground up for this generation.
The new Forza Motorsport is a reimagining of the franchise. It's taking what has made Forza great over the last 15 years and pairing that with great new game concepts. Our longtime fans will be extremely excited about this new experience.
It's called the 18-6 rule, where if you were a contract in any of the main game studios, you're only allowed to work at that studio, or maybe even most Microsoft studios, for 18 months, and then you legally have to take 6 months away from the studio unless they offer you full-time with benefits and healthcare. This was put in place because Microsoft would only keep people on contract perpetually, like never ending no matter what, and never even just bother giving them full-time at all. About a month and a half into the contract, I got a message from the other terrain artist who was teaching me and who's been there since like Forza 7 and 6. Hey, I just wanted to let you know my contract is up by next month and I will not be able to re-sign. I had to do so much while being the only terrain artist there. Then September hit. I'm working on a future map and bloop, one more message pop up telling me my contract's running out. Tell my lead, same thing, he can't do anything. My 18 months are up.
Yeah, for sure. So we are committed as the Forza Motorsport team to deliver new content and new quality of life updates and bug fixes to our players over time. That's really why we've made the game we have, is so that we can continuously update it with new goodness for players month after month. The entire motorsport engineering team right now focused on delivering bug fixes, quality of life updates. Every day we've got new fixes getting into the game, and we as a motorsport leadership team will meet for an hour or two every day and looking at the bugs that we've had reported and deciding risk versus reward, which ones are the most important to our community, which ones are going to give the biggest benefit to our players, and deciding which one of those get into the next release. I think we've got about over 200 bugs that we fixed in this next release, Brendan. Yeah.
Wow, I mean, 200 is a ton. It sounds like you guys have been extremely busy.
Stability will continue to be something very important that we focus on in updates to come beyond Update 2, but we're really proud of the work that we've done in this first major update to get these fixes out.
Don't forget replays. So there were some good memes that showed up about our replays with cars floating and doing silly things. Enjoy those while they last, because we believe we've got that fixed as well. And we should be able to get good, consistent replays in our multiplayer matches moving forward.
There's far too many car bugs that we resolved to name, but we're really proud, and all up, it's great to have this very quality release land with our players, and we're excited to share the full featured and patch notes with them. Yeah, we have a lot of new fixes lined up for Update 3. We've done a lot of work to improve our overall stability and our performance, as well as targeting some of the specific issues that we see called out across our various channels, including the troubleshooting hubs. It's also important to note that while we're always looking at the troubleshooting hub, there's also a lot of fixes that the team does for issues that may not always be visible to the player. And so it's a careful balancing act of ensuring that we're improving our overall stability and performance, as well as addressing some of the specific issues that we see called out in the troubleshooting hub. And so we always continue to encourage our players to submit issues and make sure that we're aware of the top issues that we're seeing.
Here are the nominees for Best Sports Racing Game. EA Sports FC24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest. And this year the Game Award goes to Forza Motorsport. Congratulations, turn 10.
Trying to read chat here, but someone was asking about ramming in radar, and we got you. We have a lot of those things in the works. I'm not really here to talk about all the new features that we're looking at, or the iteration that we're doing, and all the great things that we're bringing to the game based off a lot of the community feedback, but we hear you loud and clear, and we have a lot of things coming for both things like radar, as well as a bunch of other things with ghosting and FRR, and some other things and features for multiplayer behavior to help things like ramming and a bunch of other things that we know are issues. So AI, one of the biggest issues that we've been having, at least in my opinion, is the unexpected braking. So just randomly braking, even on a straight. And I would argue that 90 to 95% of that is just gone now. So you're asking about online race statistics and knowing the ratings of other. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. One of the things that we were talking about before the stream was just how crazy this live service thing is. Mm-hmm. You would have 6 or 7 meetings in a day. We have a lot of single points of failure on the team, meaning that it's just it's just Josh, or it's just me representing something. God forbid we take a week off because we take a vacation or something. So again, we'll figure this out. That's on us. The way that matchmaking works right now is it focuses more on lobby size than it actually does on keeping safety rating or skill rated players together. It tries to just fill out a lobby, and it doesn't quite care so much about all these other things. And that's just a miss to me. People like us on the team, who are in a lot of ways in charge of a lot of the creative in the game, we're not actually the ones choosing a lot of the things.
Sure.
So we hear you, and we're continuing to listen, and all of that feedback goes directly in how we prioritize even things like tracks. I get why some people in the community feel like we're drip feeding content.
Oh, right.
And I just want to be really clear. Like, we don't have this giant list of tracks that are ready to go, and we're just drip feeding them.
I wish, man.
Like,
we could have very easily just made Motorsport 8, right? Like,
Sure.
we were kind of in that rhythm. We knew how to add new content every couple of years and do that. And the idea that, you know, it's just a racing game, just go make another racing game. So many teams thinking about like what comes next, right? And so, I mean, obviously everyone here is asking about this feature and that feature, but we're always talking about, you know, what can we do to like surprise and like Dan likes to say, like to delight our players, right? And to really like get them stoked about stuff. Before we launched, all I could think about was like, man, if we could just release tracks regularly, like that's a huge win. Like that's pretty unique in the industry to just like keep rolling that kind of stuff out.
The long and short of it again is we're working on it. We're trying to make it better. Every single thing that we do, every little change that we make has to go through an enormous amount of testing. What's hard and frustrating for me and the team is that we built so much technology that allows us to literally make these changes instantaneously, right? Like we're testing everything very, very thoroughly, and so oftentimes a change that may take a minute may take months and months for it to actually go live, just because we want to make sure that it doesn't impact the rest of the surface of the game. It's pretty complex. That's unfortunate, but I wish it were easier, and I wish it was a lot faster and we can make some of these tuning changes just like that, because we literally can, but then we have to ensure that it's going to be working for everybody. And, so yeah.
Localization is a thing that needs to be taken into account every time we make any change. And so like if we are to add a new menu that has stats or something, like we need to be able, our UI and UX teams have to be able to design those menus in a way that works for localization across all of the places that play our game. And that's time, and then we have to test that in those things. And then, it never ceases to blow my mind the scope of any test that we have to get anything in the game. It would be just as easy for big AAA studios to just be like, nah, we made the game, we're done. And, sometimes it hurts. Like I know of a lot of bugs that my team specifically let sneak through that drives me bonkers. And I want to make the game better, and I want to do that kind of stuff. And it's like a little bit of a pride hit to me to like acknowledge that, like, sorry guys, like this should have been better and stuff. But you guys aren't just our customers, you share the same type of passion for racing and for games that we do, and so we want to like treat you with that kind of respect.